What's up everyone, Andrew Baena here, and on today's video we're going to be taking a look at Neural DSP's newest plugin, Archetype Misha Mansoor, the godfather of Djent himself, baby! So that demo song that you just heard, of course, was using the Archetype Misha Mansoor plugin for all of the guitar tones that you just heard, and right now we're going to go over the specs and features of this plugin, and I'll show you the tones by themselves as well as a few other options, because this one actually has some very cool special effects that I have not seen in any of Neural DSP's other plugins, including an effect literally called laser, which is awesome for chaotic, weird, dissonant sounds, which is my favorite thing. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's open up the plugin and start poking around. Okay, so switching over to my DAW view, let's open up this plugin and start poking around. By the way, you can get a free 14-day trial of this plugin over at Neural DSP's website, so go check that out, and a big thank you to them for sending the plugin over to me and for sponsoring this video. Now, this is a beta version, so it might look slightly different than the final version that you will get, but nonetheless, all the features are here, so let's talk about it. So for that demo song, what I had going on was 3 main guitar tones. I had, of course, a main heavy high gain rhythm tone, I had a chaotic lead tone, which we will definitely be talking about, and then a more ambient lead at the end of the song. So first up, let's take a look at the rhythm tone. So when you open up the plugin, it looks fairly similar to a lot of other Neural DSP plugins. We have the menu across the top where you can switch between different sections. So we're going to start on the special effects section, because this is the most new and unique part of this plugin. So we're gonna go ahead and turn that on. So in this section, you can see that we have 2 main pedals. We have a laser pedal and a glitch pedal. Both of these are absolutely insane for making chaotic sounds. The laser pedal kind of acts like a combination of a ring mod and like a pitch shifter at the same time. One of the really cool things about it is you can actually trigger it so it goes to the fully on position. So if you're kind of like automating this on and off, it's nice and easy to go to that maximum position right away, which I thought was cool. You can also, of course, control the pedal to control the amount of laser effect. And then over here, you have a bunch of different options. You got a bunch of pitch effects like dissonant whammy, dual whammy, inverted fifth chord, so on and so forth. And then if you scroll down, you see the ring mod effects there. You can, of course, mix in how much of that effect you want. And one of the other cool things is you can switch it from pedal mode to envelope mode. And what this actually does is it locks off the pedal and it basically just automates the pedal according to a pre-made envelope, which sounds insane, and that's what I was using for my chaotic lead tone, which I'll show you later. Next up, we have the glitch section. So once you turn it on, you can actually see that you have an option to choose the amount of your loop length. So you can have half bar, 1 bar, 2 bars, or 4 bars, and the graphic kind of changes to represent that. So essentially, from my understanding, what this is doing is it's basically listening to, for example, in this case, a 4-bar section of music, and it's basically going to keep looping that over and over and over. And then what you can do with that is create very weird effects, which basically sound like glitches. So you can set it up to sequence mode, pitch delay mode, interfere mode, or texturizer mode. You can also, of course, sync the tempo to your DAW or tap it if you want to. In my case, obviously, I wanted it to be synced to my DAW. And of course, like with the laser pedal, you can choose how much you want it to be mixed in, and you also have an option to filter, and then a few more options here to control the graininess or the glitchiness of the effect. Next up, we'll move over to the pedal section. Again, this looks pretty similar to a few other Neural DSP effects, but this time around, we have some officially licensed versions of Horizon Devices pedals, which is pretty neat. So we have the Horizon Devices compressor and the Horizon Devices precision drive. Both of these pedals have been out for quite some time, so I'm sure you've heard of them before. We also have a tape echo, a dual octaver, and a chaos pedal. I'm not entirely sure what the chaos pedal does, but it definitely sounds chaotic. And then, of course, the dual octaver and tape echo, pretty self-explanatory. So it's a nice option to have the echo before the amp, again, to create some extra weird effects, because normally, you know, you would have an echo and delay after the amp. So, yeah, nice to have both here. Next up, switching over to the amp section, of course, as usual, we have 3 different amp models here. So we have like a clean, a medium gain, and a high gain as such. And of course, matching cabs to each amp, or you can unlink them and mix and match them as you see fit, like so. All 3 amp models kind of have the controls that you would expect, basically being, you know, EQ effects, the amount of gain, output, presence, so on and so forth. But there's also voicing switches on, I think, all 3 of them. Yeah, all 3 of them. And the clean also has a boost. So again, lots of options there. And again, of course, it's nice that you can always mix and match the cabs like so. Or if you go over to the cab section, like with every other Neural DSP plugin, you could also, instead of mixing and matching the cab, literally turn it off and just add your own impulse response and mix it however you want. But if you do use the included cabs, you of course have a lot more options to actually play around with the mic position and distance and so on and so forth, or even blend mics if you want, like so. Next up, we have the EQ section. Nothing too crazy going on here. It's pretty standard. What is this? 7-band EQ? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-band EQ. I'm good at math. And then of course, low pass, high pass over there, and you can turn it off or on. And then last but not least, we have the post effects section. For this plugin, we are looking at a modulator, a stereo delay, and a reverb. Delay and reverb, pretty self-explanatory and what you would expect from most plugins like that. But the modulator is pretty cool because you can set it to be a chorus or a flanger. Again, you have that mix setting like so. And then you also have the rate section down here to control the speed of the effect. And kind of similar to the first pre-effects section, you can also set it to auto. So it's actually going to automatically modulate off and on, and you can choose, you know, the speed from there or have it be completely random if you want. Quarter note, eighth note, so on and so forth. Very cool stuff. Okay, and then some other effects which are the same as every other Neural DSP plugin. As you notice across the top, you have your input gain, your noise gate, your transpose. So if you want to pitch shift your guitar, you can do that right within this plugin. Your input mode, so whether it's mono or stereo. You also have a doubler over here. So if you want to basically double the sound of your guitar, you can do that. Your output gain, and then down here you have your preset selection right there. So if you save your own presets, it's going to go to the user section. You can see I've made 3 here. And then of course the plugin's also going to come with a bunch of pre-made presets. One cool thing I did notice, by the way, is when you save your preset now, it actually has basically hashtags attached to your preset, so you can sort them by like, is this a rhythm tone, a modern sound, and metal, so on and so forth. I thought that was a cool feature that I haven't seen them done before, so pretty neat stuff. Okay, so with all that being said, let's actually hear what is going on. So I'm going to start off with the rhythm tones, and they sound like this. Nice and simple, djenty, dare I say, rhythm tone. So I'm gonna solo only the left guitar now, and we're gonna play around with a couple of the features just so you can hear what that sounds like. Okay, next up we're going to go over to the chaos lead section. This one is interesting because I was making more use of this envelope laser effect, which again is automatically basically whammying all over the place, and it sounds absolutely crazy like this. So cool sounding, right? And the ironic thing about this is it's actually just the exact same riff as the previous one I showed you. I just copied and pasted it, but with this tone it sounds entirely different. It is insane sounding. I have this pretty aggressive with the mix at 100%, but I was loving how it sounded. So for example, if we turn off the laser effect, you'll hear that it sounds way different. So what I also had going on was the dual octaver, so I was also pitch shifting it up an octave and blending it with the direct signal, as well as the chaos pedal. Okay, and then last but not least, I had an ambient lead pad tone, which sounds like this. So at the very end there, that's where you can really hear the glitch and what it's doing. So it was kind of looping one bar over and over and over again and adding that really like weird granular delay after it. I thought it sounded really cool, especially for that more like textured lead, I guess you would call it. So if we turn that off, for example, it's gonna sound like this. Right, a lot more standard of an ambient tone. I thought adding in the glitch layer really helped elevate it and give it a lot more, literally, texture. That's what it's called, right? So I'm gonna turn up the mix to like 80% and just show you some of the other options. So I had it at texturizer, but we're gonna try out some of the other ones as well. So to my ear, the texturizer and the interfere mode definitely sounded the coolest for like really weird ambient tones. But yeah, you can get some really cool results with this. And of course, you can totally change the loop length to be faster or longer, or shorter or longer rather, and play around with the mix and all that. Sounds crazy. Like, I just bumped it up to be 30-second notes, so it occurs way more. Really cool stuff. Anyways, as you can see, you can get totally lost in these features, but you can make so many cool sounds with this plugin that I've never seen before in any other Neural DSP plugin, and I had a lot of fun making this video. Okay, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, a massive thank you to Neural DSP for sponsoring this video. Again, if you are interested in getting a free trial of this plugin, trying it out for yourself and seeing if it is right for you, there's gonna be a link in the description and the pinned comment below. And of course, last but not least, a big thank you to all my Patreon members whose names are on the screen at this point in time. If you're interested in audio downloads, guitar tabs, stems, or a shout out on the screen, you can find all of that over on my Patreon page, which is also linked in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you soon.